Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving deep into the evolution of a site reliability engineering team. We're going to take all that abstract theory you hear about and turn it into a real, relatable story of growth. So let's just ask the question right out of the gate. Does it feel like your SRE team is just holding a fire hose, waiting for the next system to burst into flames? Because look, that's where most teams start out. It's a total baptism by fire. But the real adventure, the bigger journey we're talking about today, is about how you evolve beyond that constant reactive state. And that journey's first major step? It happens when an SRE team makes a really intentional choice to become the advocate. This is a huge turning point. It's about moving from reaction to intentional collaboration. It's saying, okay, we're not just going to show up when things break, we're going to champion reliability across the entire organization. So what does being an advocate actually look like in practice? Well, it means getting into the room for those design and architecture discussions before a single line of code is written. Not just showing up when there's an outage. You're there, paying close attention, helping lead production readiness reviews, and really understanding what's coming down the pipeline. And, SRE expert Ben Perguson absolutely nails it here. He points out that this idea, this intentionality, often gets lost in the early days. But it is so crucial because it lays the foundation for literally everything that comes next. You're building trust, you're building credibility. Okay, so once that advocacy is established, the SRE team can begin its next trial, evolving from an observer, an advocate, into a true partner with the development teams. And let me tell you, this transition is a tough one. It's a fundamental shift from just paying attention to actually planning together. And what's really interesting here is this shift from reactive collaboration to proactive partnership. You see it right here. As an advocate, you're helping with reviews. As a partner, you're co-creating the foundational building blocks everyone uses. But my favorite part is this last one, moving from building tools for self-service to building tools that empower intelligent risk. What does that mean? Well, a self-service tool might just let a developer deploy, but a tool that empowers intelligent risk, it shows them the current error budget, it shows them the blast radius of their change, it gives them all the context they need to make a really smart decision. That's a game changer. And all of this leads us to the final ideal stage of this journey. This is where the very distinction between SRE and other engineers really starts to get blurry. This is where reliability isn't just an SRE problem. It becomes a shared priority for everyone. Now, in this stage, SREs still have a laser focus on reliability, don't get me wrong, but it happens within a culture where that focus is shared across the entire engineering organization. Everyone participates, from architecture all the way to on-call. So the question is, how do you actually get there? But let's be pragmatic for a second. Can this level of organizational harmony, can it ever really happen in the real world? Or is this whole thing just a pipe dream? Well, the source material is pretty clear on this. And honestly, it's a hard truth. Yes, it can happen, but it is rare, and it's incredibly fragile. It's basically predicated on this perfect alignment of incentives that, can shift at any moment. A reorg, a budget reallocation, and the whole thing can just fall apart. Now, a hero can't succeed alone, right? And this evolution, it requires scaling the team itself, which, you guessed it, brings its own whole set of challenges and key inflection points. And this just brilliantly illustrates that journey. It starts with hiring that one crucial person. From there, you grow to about 6 people. Why 6? Well, that seems to be the magic number for a humane, sustainable on-call rotation in one spot. Get up to around 18, and now you can really start thinking about a follow-the-sun model for 24/7 coverage. And then, beyond that, you're looking at a full multi-team org that needs some real structure. Now, central to all of this growth is this really powerful SRE goal of sublinear scaling. Sounds kind of technical, but the idea is simple. It's doing more with less. It's the goal of not needing to hire a new person for every single new service or for every little increase in load. So, how do you pull that off? Well, think of it like this. Automation, common platforms, standardized practices, these are your levers. They give each SRE the power to lift much bigger rocks. That way, you're not just adding more people to lift more rocks, you're giving each person more leverage. This increases their impact without just constantly increasing headcount. But like we said, this journey isn't a simple straight line. The source offers some absolutely crucial caveats that we all need to remember when we're thinking about this whole model. So here's the really crucial point. This is not some rigid maturity model that you have to climb step by step. It's way more flexible than that. You can have different teams in the same org at totally different stages. Teams can move back and forth. In fact, that final engineer stage, it might not even be the right end goal for every single team. And this piece of wisdom from David Cottle is just key. Progress is so much more important than perfection. Getting the whole system working, even if it's a little imperfect, a little wobbly, is so much better than getting stuck on perfecting just one little step. Which brings us to a final thought, a question for you to consider about your own SRE journey. Is your organization really empowering its engineers to be advocates and partners, or are you just kind of handing them a fire hose and hoping for the best? It's something to think about.